My name is Matt. I'm a grateful recovering heroin addict. I celebrated 10 years on April 21st. I know it's late, ran a little late, but it's all good. I hope you guys got some knowledge. I started off in the Oxycontin epidemic, gradually progressed to IV heroin use. When I was a kid, I didn't raise my hand and say I wanted to be a heroin addict. But one of the things that I take a lot of pride in is the advocacy work. And to sit up here with doctors who are now taking a stand and trying to raise their voice to show that there's clearly a problem in the medical side of things, and that things need to be changed, that knowledge needs to be expressed, is incredible to me. Because for years I've been sitting at the State House in Massachusetts and Boston fighting with politicians about what's needed in the treatment system and how these painkillers that are flooding the streets have spawned this epidemic, that has spawned a death of a generation. As I sit here with most of my friends that I got high with, aren't around. Most of them are dead or in jail. And if I was never introduced to that pill called Oxycontin or Percocet, 99% of the people that I got high with would never have been using heroin. And that's just a fact. So I'm going to share a few pieces with you guys if that's cool. And real quick, can we give a round of applause to my man? That was a dope poem. I work in treatment. I'm on the verge of opening up my own treatment center in Wilmington, Mass. Banyan Treatment Center. We're a program out of Pompano Beach, Florida, and I'm actually opening up a branch out of Wilmington and Wakefield, Massachusetts. But on a daily basis, I get phone calls on finding people placement on detoxes, sober house, halfway house, whatever the case is. And I wrote this piece called The Broken System. And it's a detailed description. It's a vent on my frustration on trying to get somebody into a detox and having the program say, sorry, no beds, call tomorrow, call every hour. Oh, they go through a 5-day spin wash and there's no CSS bed. See you later, kick to the curb, back to the same circumstances, around the same people, places, and things, like they're going to get better. So I wrote this piece as a vent. I'm sure somebody in here is going to relate. When I got high, it was to escape the pain of hurting. Explaining addiction to a normal person is like a woman with no kids explaining the pain of birthing. Let me break it down to you. These 4 to 5 day spin washes aren't working. We need to scrap the Massachusetts model of treatment and come up with a better version. Because these suits and ties would rather close their curtains, ignoring the state's overdose rate is continuously surging. These politicians must be living in a fairy tale. At times trying to get into a detox like a dog chasing its own tail. The system is set up for us to fail to the point. Sometimes it's easier to go detox in jail. Call the programs up to here, we got no beds. Then when you do get into detox, they load you up with enough meds until the entire unit looks like a night of the living dead. A 4 to 5 day escape from the day-to-day. A safe place to stay. But there's no beds in aftercare programs, so the decision gets made to hand you a list and send you on your way. Back to the same old same, like those 4 days is gonna fix the years of pain. Years of strain, years of sniffing pills to push your poison in your veins. Addiction is like a ball and chain, a slave whenever it calls your name, weighing you down until it buries you in the grave. Then when you do hit the streets, further treatment is just out of reach. So you keep a dirty urine instead of being clean. Recovery's only seen in the better parts of your dreams, living the nightmare transforming into a fiend. And there's not a soul alive that can hear you scream. But you know what you need. Even though the sickness got a trick up its sleeve, it starts whispering in your ear till you start to believe that you got a grip, that you can handle your disease till they find your body dead with an empty IV. Another statistic, another number added to the thousands this year. One thing remains clear as I bury more and more of my peers, that most people out there don't really care until it's one of their loved ones added to the prayers. A Facebook wall flooded with love. Rants are raised about how we all hate this drug. I think it's getting a little too overcrowded up above. Heaven needs to stop taking my people. The origins of this epidemic are see-through. Pharmaceutical companies gave birth to a generation addicted to the need of legal drug dealing doctors influenced by money as pure evil. Flood the streets of painkillers, then you pull them off the market. They make it easy to transition into heroin when the withdrawals hit the hardest. I don't even think we face the worst part of it. I sit here with a heavy soul, broken-hearted, praying for the daily departing, that those that are lost will find their light inside of the darkness. Coming out clean on the other side. I want to spark a rallying cry that might save a few lives. Every day another angel flies while an entire community mourns while saying their goodbyes. All I can do is try to prove to you that it's worth staying alive. Y'all can relate? Nah, a little bit? One of the biggest things that I take pride in is the education. We talk about prevention. 18 and older that are already sick and suffering, we can only treat. The end of this epidemic starts with our youth. And I was speaking at a middle school out in Western Mass, 7th and 8th graders, right? And an 8th grader had a 14-year-old classmate that died of a heroin overdose. How shocking is that a 14-year-old in 8th grade died of a heroin overdose? Now, I'm blessed with 2 kids. I got a 7-year-old that'll turn 8 July 2nd, and my daughter will turn 3 June 24th. And one thing that I want them growing up into is a climate where the drug climate changes, where it's not accepted, where it's not like, hey, try this makes you feel good. Where we start educating the youth, we start talking to our kids, talking to our teachers, coaches, counselors, and start educating them on the prevention of drugs. 12-year-olds can learn on how to impregnate a girl in sexual education, but we can't talk about prevention at a 12, 13, and 14-year-old age group. So I highly suggest if anybody in here has kids, to go home and talk to them about drug prevention, about what to do in these peer pressure situations, and not just say, don't do drugs. That doesn't work. Open in dialogue to these kids and talk to your school districts on getting some sort of program in, because that's where we end this epidemic, is the next generation. Unfortunately, people in my age group, all you can do is treat. You know, the kids are where we prevent it. But I need some crowd participation for this next piece. Can I get that? A little bit? A little bit?
Yeah.
I need everybody, including these doctors behind me, that every time I say IMA, I need everybody in this room to say miracle. Can we do that? IMA? Wow, that is really weak, and I didn't hear anybody behind me say anything. IMA? 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 A beautiful soul, living, breathing, standing on stage, screaming out for joy. Not only was I lucky enough to make it to this beautiful place, so was my little girl and boy. We're given a once-in-a-lifetime chance, so stop saying I can't when faced with any obstacle. Because lately I've been feeling unstoppable, so don't tell me to give up on my dreams, that what I'm trying to be is impossible. I'm possible. I destroyed every negative thought of mine, outside the box thinking, reopened my mind, made it through the darkest nights just to see the sunshine. Just to see the beautiful smile of my sunshine. These aren't stories, I literally bleed across these lines. Even if I died, still breathe inside these rhymes. And when those miracles are hard to find, faced with hard times, screaming up to heaven, please show me a sign. I remind you to leave all of your problems behind, that you were designed to be a miracle. IMA. They say you can't be this, you'll never be that, you're never gonna escape the shackles of your past. Take everything about you and throw it in the trash to try to break you. Like I put my fist through the glass, smash. Don't ever listen to what they tell you. You can't do, ignore whatever point they're trying to prove. Say to yourself, I will not lose. Then the drive and determination will rise inside you like the fire burning with the heart of a lion that's roaring inside too. You are beautiful. Just don't let the negativity ruin you. They couldn't fit into a pair of your shoes. So if you've been staring at the world from a difficult point of view and those gray skies refuse to be blue, close your eyes and say, IMA. I'd rather build people up than break them down, because I know what it's like to almost trying to hit rock bottom and there wasn't a soul around. An angel put their ear to my chest and they couldn't hear a sound. And then I rose like a giant phoenix and that heartbeat was found. It's a miracle that I'm standing here right now. IMA. 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 Don't you ever forget you're a miracle. I just want to say that I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to speak in front of you guys. And I'm grateful for another day. And that, you know, if anybody's out there struggling, or if you have kids that are struggling, there's nothing that says that they can't overcome it or that you can't overcome it. Unfortunately, when I was going and getting help, people told me I was going to relapse. I was going to go back to jail. I was going to go back to a program, that I wasn't going to make it, that I was going to be a statistic. And that doesn't have to be you. You are worth it. Don't you ever forget that. Please, you know, if you're out there struggling, don't give up on yourself. Life is a beautiful thing in recovery. Thank you.
Matt Ganem.